Hi guys. Okay, today we're going to do a little project. Now, as you'll recall, using my Blackbird haversack, I've been carrying in it a one-wind poncho. And I recently did a video where I said I was going to be trying out what they call the ground sheet, but it's actually just a tarp. So I wanted to come up with some way of creating a shelter system that would be quick and easy to put up in inclement weather. But what's the purpose here? The purpose is to make it into a sunshade, a quick shade, a get out of a little bit of weather shade, etc. You know, a little bit of rain, nothing bad. Because like I said, this rides in the haversack. This isn't something that's dedicated strictly for camping. It's where I'm in a situation where I'm inconveniently going to have to camp. I carry what I need in the haversack for that. So I want my hammock, obviously, and I want a little tarp of some kind, obviously. Now this is the poncho. I want you to notice something. See that ridge line? That's my standard ridge line that I make up, my quick deploy, that's got the Prusik knots on it with a quick toggle so I can just attach to the tarp and have it up quick. But it's kind of big, and I'm trying to pare down size. So I was talking to one of my followers, and the gentleman was kind enough to send me some fishing line. Now this is tough line, braided Dacron, and it's a 200-pound test, 100 yards of it. I don't know how much this was. The gentleman obviously does a lot of saltwater fishing and things and was kind enough to send me a roll to try out. Use it as an alternate to bank line. Now let's think about this for a second. If it's a heavy job that might be supporting me, it's 550 cord, military issue 550, and I've got a pile of that. If it's going to be something that I'm going to cut and make and probably leave, it'll probably be bank line. And bank line's got a breaking strength of around 350 feet, 350 pounds. So tell me then, what's a step down? And also, bank line's getting kind of hard to find, isn't it? Real bank line, tarred bank line, not just some black nylon, but actual tarred bank line is getting harder to find. And my source that I had dried up, so whenever my couple of spools I got dry up, I got to go looking for someplace. I understand from several people that have said that SRO, Dave Canterbury's store, does have the correct tarred bank line. So if you're looking for some, I recommend you go check them out. There are other places that have it, but that's just the one that comes to mind at the moment. But I'm wanting some sort of cordage that is available, strong, light, and does the job, but it has to bind on itself and hold a good knot. Well, that's what fishing line does. And this fishing line is smaller in diameter than bank line, feels kind of smooth, and yet when you put a Prusik knot on it, it won't slide. That's what I'm looking at. So what I'd like to do is create a ridge line for my ultralight tarp with that. Now that's that ultralight tarp that we're talking about. That's how it comes. And I've had it out of the bag, shot that video, rolled it back up and put it back in the bag. So I want something that's not going to be so bulky it can't go back in this bag. And I can't do that with that ridge line that I just showed you. Now you may have a tarp of some form similar to this, so that's where this discussion is going. This is meant to be a ground sheet, so it's got those pockets for sand or weight. And along one side, it's a rectangle. It's that wide, which is pretty close to 5.5 feet, because I'm 5'10", and you see how wide that is. And then along the edge, you got the grommet, the loops right here to attach a stake, or in this case a thing. And then along two edges it has other reinforced grommets. That's been reinforced with a tab on two sides so that's not going to tear out easy. Now I like that. Well, you saw when I put it up, I just did the outside corners and pull it, but that leaves the two center kind of loose, and I'd have to improvise it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a ridge line. It's going to have a prusik coming to this. The line will then thread through the two middle ones, and then go to a prusik on that end, so I can slide it like a curtain to wherever I want, and then just pull it opposite and have it tight. So that's where we're going to go with this. Now, to create that, I'm going to make it out of this Dacron Tough Line fishing line. It'll be small, it'll be light, and it'll fit in keeping with what the theme of this is, light. Okay? How long? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to tie a bowline on the end that's going to be big enough for everything to pass through, including the completed tarp. So that's going to be at least something that big. Okay, so now we're going to tie our knot. So I'm making a pretty good sized loop. I want to grab and twist and go uphill like that. Rabbit goes through the hole, goes around the tree, and then goes back through the hole, just like that. Pinch the whole thing together and pull the lines until all the slack goes away, just like that. And now I have a bowline that's at least big enough to pass that small ultralight tarp through once it's created. Now how long? How long? Usually around 20 feet or so is what I try to run. That gives me enough room to go around the trees. Because you think, well, I want my trees 10 feet apart. How big are the trees? If a tree is this big around, it might be 3.5, 4 feet to go around the tree to tie back to itself. A tree ain't as big as a pencil, it varies in size. So I'm going to cut out this 30 feet to guarantee I got enough size to go around. It's pretty good sized trees and, excuse me, pretty good sized trees and have my proper thing. So, not including the bowline, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, make it 25, 25 feet. Now we're going to cut it. Put a knot in the end, keep it from fraying out. Double knot it. Now, I've got the actual body of the ridge line created. So now I need to go over here to two trees and string it up so I can create my prusiks. Hang on for that. Okay, now I've run my ridge line from one tree to another and gone ahead and laced on the two center loops. Now I will pull them out, and I'm going to create my prusik on this side and a prusik on that side. Let me give you a close-up of that. Okay, now I've taken and cut 2 lengths of line and gone ahead and put a knot in the end of them of about that long. Give you an idea, maybe 2 feet. This is going to be in excess, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take one line. I'm going to take my other line, I'm going to double it in half, and very loosely make a little overhand loop just to hold it closed and keep the ends together. Just like that, just go around and come back through. Okay, now I've got a loop. Now, I want to come up to the line, I want to spread it out, and I want to pass the center section through 4 times. 3, 4. Now, holding the loop and holding the pull tab, I want to pull up on the pull tab and kind of guide it together like that, rolling the loop to the outside so that I dress the prusik up. Alright, now that prusik will slide, but when you put it under tension, it should not, if you got it dressed right. Doop, 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 doop. Now it holds, so I can slide it and then put it under tension, and it's good. And you see that long tab? Now I'm going to take my tarp, and taking that tab, I'm going to go through both ends, through it, leaving about 2 inches right there. I'm going to come up, I'm going to go over and pull back through so that I've got, double hitch it, so that I've got about 2 inches right there between the knot and the actual prusik. It gives me a little slack, okay? So I'm going to half hitch it one more time across there. And that's it, that's good. Now I can dress this up, take it down a lot closer and a lot tighter, and tie off my knot, and then cut this off, this excess off, so it's just dressed to there. Now that will slide, but when I pull it out here and put it under tension, pull the prusik and wiggle that down, it bites good. And that will give me the tarp edge. Now let me do it on the other side. Okay. Now I have my prusik knot attached on this side. I have my 2 center loops, and I have my prusik on that way. Now I can simply pull like you just saw there, and ta-da, it's under tension. I got my center grommets already hooked up. If I need to move this tarp down, I can just grab this end and slide it down 6 inches or whatever, walk to this end, grab the far end one, and pull it tight again, and boom, she's already threaded in and ready to go. Now, I haven't added any appreciable weight to the tarp set, and yet I've got a ridge line already attached. Now, how am I going to fold and put this up? Well, you remember that bowling's on that end. This side is just a trucker's hitch. When I go to pull out, all I got to do is pull the tent stakes out of the back, and now it's a curtain. So I want to slide it all to one side. So I grab the prusik on this side, and I just start walking until we all get down here on this end. And since those center loops are in the way, one prusik isn't going to ride over another prusik. There's a space, so I can take it down to about that big. Then I pull the tarp out and roll it up like this. Make sure you can see this. I will have brought my tarp to the tree. Now I will take it, pull the tarp out to here, hanging on the line, start rolling it to the center, and rolling it up. Just like this. Letting the ridge line help me roll up my tarp. Now, there it is, all nice and compact. It'd sure be nice if right now I had a rubber band or something to put around there, wouldn't it? And hold it in place while I went and untied the other end. Okay, now I've got my line unattached. It took some theatrics, but I did it. Happened to have a piece of paracord on my knife. Now I get here and I've rolled it up good and tight to this ridge line. Now I'm going to take my ridge line and go around my tarp. Remember that big old loop I left on the bowling? Now I can pass it over the whole thing and bring it off the tree. So there's the entire ridge with the line attached. Will it fit in that little bag? Let's find out. Okay, there's a itty bitty bag. Now, first thing we're going to do is stick one end in. Put the other end up against your chest so it don't take off. Experience talking there. Start working it down. Take your thumb and just squeeze and push, and pull the lip up. It's like putting a sock on. And finally, roll it over the top, pull it down and in, just like that. Make sure the entire ridge line is inside the bag. Ta-da! Shelter and ridge line in one small bag. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned, one, that we can make a ridge line attached to this tarp, and that it can be a quick deploy that way. Because now I don't have to worry about anything but just unwrapping the bag. I pull it out, it's already a big loop, I pass it through the loop, around the tree, pull it tight, and I just walk to the other end unwrapping. When I get to the other end, I tie it up and I pull it tight. Boom, it's up. Minute and a half, 2 minutes tops at the most. And then I pull back and put my stakes in place. I've got 4 stake slots in the back, and I carry 4 stakes in my haversack. So that is what's going to be in the Blackbird haversack right now as the shelter system. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, please hit that like and share button. And thank you very much for supporting my channel. Till next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.